Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to do a shrimp and scallop stir fry with some hot peppers, some leeks, some chard, and some of our garlic and cayenne and Noodles soy sauce. And it's going to be good. It's going to be something you could serve over rice if you wanted to. You could serve it over noodles if you wanted, or you could eat it by itself. But I'm going to show you the ingredients real quick, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Like I said, we're going to use cayenne pepper, which is kind of spicy, minced garlic, some rice wine vinegar, a little soy sauce, a little black pepper. I'm going to use some tomato for the base of the sauce. These are poblanos, but you could really use kind of any hotter pepper that you wanted. Shrimp, scallops, got leeks, we got chard. We're going to use some of our turkey stock from the other day, and then at the very end I'm going to throw in some of this. I'm going to cheat a little bit and use this red pepper sauce that I got from the store. It's good and saves you some time. And we're gonna saute some onions as our first step. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start some tomatoes over here in a back pan, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt. And then we're going to throw in some of our rice wine vinegar. And the purpose of the tomatoes is once they've stewed for a while, and that's about 2 teaspoons of vinegar. Once they've been stewing for a while and they've mushed down, we're going to add them to the rest of our sauce as kind of just to use their acidity, and but we don't want to have any of the sort of the tomato firmness, so this is going to be cooking in the background the whole time. So I've taken a skillet and put in some canola oil, and this is a preheated pan. You don't want to saute things into a cold pan. So I'm just going to take about a quarter cup of onion to let that start to saute. So our onions are now nice and caramelized, so let's go ahead and put in a big scoop or two of garlic. It's already been minced. And you don't want to put the garlic in like this too early, otherwise it will burn and that'll give it kind of a sour flavor. Okay, so we're just going to spoon that in there just a second. Let that kind of toast. And get these pieces down to the side so they don't burn, get left behind. And now we're going to put in some of our turkey stock just to kind of deglaze the pan. You don't want to drown them, but just enough to cover them. Our tomatoes and our rice wine vinegar, and now a little bit of the turkey stock are simmering happily. And now you can see our onions and garlic are pretty well reduced. So at this point, we're going to go ahead and put in our vegetables to start to saute as well. So this is our chard and our leeks that have been diced and washed thoroughly because you want to get all the sand out. So let's just go ahead and dump that and give that a stir. You might add a spoon of stock in a second. Now while our greens are sauteing and starting to wilt, we're going to dump our peppers into our tomato sauce. So we're just going to take a couple handfuls and just start dumping them in. And this is about half. We've taken about half the seeds out, but there's still seeds in here, so it's going to have a nice little kick when it's all done. So our peppers and tomato sauce is simmering nicely, and our greens are wilting. So at this point, we're going to take our peppers and our tomato sauce and just dump that right into the pan. And the same pan we're going to use to brown our shrimp and our scallops before we, because you want to get a browning effect for your seafood before you just dump it into your vegetable mixture, otherwise you don't get the right texture. Into a very hot pan of canola oil, we're going to, away from us just to be safe, we're going to dump our shrimp. We're going to dump our scallops as well. Our seafood is starting to cook a little bit, so we're going to go ahead and start to season. I got some black pepper. Sprinkle a good bit of that in there. Some pepper, and we're going to do some of our kikkoman soy sauce. And we're going to do a little bit of white wine. Not too much. You already have some white wine vinegar in the vegetables. And we have a little bit of this sweet peach preserve mixture. Stir that together. Now I'm going to turn the heat off already on the shrimp and the scallops, because you don't want to overcook them, and they're going to cook another minute in the with the vegetables anyway. And so next thing we're going to do now is an extra little bit of heat. We are going to put in our cayenne pepper. And that's hot, so we're not going to use a whole ton. Now we're going to transfer our shrimp and our scallops into our greens and our peppers. So our shrimp and our scallops and our vegetables are happily simmering away. I've turned the heat down a little bit. So now into this pot of boiling water, we're going to dump some angel hair noodles. And that will just take a few minutes for them to cook through. Now, while our noodles are still slightly al dente, they're still have a little give on them, we're going to just transfer that into our sauce. Just one ladleful at a time. And we're just going to toss the noodles in our sauce and make sure to get everything all sort of stirred in and happy. And there you have it. Bow and apple teeth. Enjoy.